Because I don't know if the people out there have heard, Monster Riff is now part of the Lee Bella family of companies.
Right? Yeah. Incredible. Incredible.
When I was looking back at our first podcast, you were dropping hints back then. I
Was it
made a
really?
joke. I made a joke about it.
Oh
I put
yeah,
up the.
because at that time I I had scaled back considerably, um, and I didn't really know what was going to happen. I don't think I was ready to let it go yet because it was still like it had been such a part of my daily life and like
You
part of my
beat Rolling
consciousness.
Stone.
Yeah, it's one time,
You
one time.
you
That's
you
all it
can't.
takes.
You beat Rolling. You beat everybody. You placed number one for that, right?
I was more I was happier about beating Vice because Vice has a little bit of an attitude sometimes about itself, and so I was more excited about that. But
Wait, Rolling Stone doesn't have an attitude about itself?
Rolling Stone does, but I feel like it's more deserved than Vice's is. Vice just kind of like came in and was like the I don't know the underground alter ego of journalism, and then it I don't know trying to be the cool kid on the block and doing all this
That's our
alternative stuff.
template for Monster Riff. We're going to start doing deep dive coverage on Motley Crue and we're going to get three different sides to the Mick Mars controversy, and you know basically become part of the Gene Simmons fan club.
Love it.
No, none of so you've been struggling with this decision for a while. What do you think actually made it go, okay, that's it, I'm done? Was it getting up at 3 a.m. to change diapers?
uh, yeah, so Zayden did have a big sway in things because it got to the point where having a baby and having a baby that doesn't sleep well and running a business which is just another baby and trying to balance all of that with Monster Riv was a lot harder than I expected. And what I found was like we'd get into a rhythm as a family. There would be like 4 weeks consistently where I would get content out. And then all of a sudden there'd be 6 weeks where I'd get nothing out. And I would just be a struggle to even get like a paragraph down at a time. And eventually it was like a few weeks ago, I hadn't written anything for a couple weeks and I was just out walking the dog and I was thought, what if I just kind of gave it up at this point? And that was the first time I'd considered it where it wasn't an immediate no. And there was actually like a little bit of relief in that idea of letting it
Mm,
go.
mm.
And we'll say that you were one of only three people that I would have trusted to take it and do a great job with it. And so I was very excited when you were willing to take it on because I know it's going to be in good hands now. And it was a easy decision to make once I talked to Regina about it, like my wife, and she was like, "Are you sure? You sure you want to do that?" And it was time. I felt like it was time. It's an easy choice. It's like my son, my music blog. It's an easy choice.
Right, right, right. And you could have let Monster Riff could easily have limped on.
It
You know, the
probably could have. It was doing fine, but
yeah,
the best part, I think, the best part of having run Monster Riff for so long is just like being part of the scene and like having real conversations with people. Like talking to the
yeah,
bands, talking to other fans, and I think you and I are I think fans first, writers
yeah,
second, critics third,
yeah.
and that's the best part is just being friends with people in the scene, like having conversations like this where we're just being straight with each other. And I think that's what's partially great about metal in general, right? Is that we like wear our black t-shirts and have this like tough guy bravado, but we're all just soft-hearted people in beards.
That's to keep the Depeche Mode fans out. No, and I've been there's like 100 um, topics I kind of wanted to talk to you and talk to Ryan. Like, I think Stoner Doom itself is a gatekeeping term. we don't need gatekeepers because we gatekeep. It's Stoner Doom.
Right. There's no point in gatekeeping it because it
Yeah,
keeps everybody
right.
else out, you know?
We've immediately said, "Hey, Fantano, you're not going to like this," and Finn McGenty, don't even think about it, and Rick Beato, forget about it. Have you seen Sea of Tranquility does like regular Fuzz and Stoner Doom stuff?
Oh, very cool.
Oh yeah, he did Haunted.
Nice.
So huge shout out to Sea of Tranquility. Hopefully we can get him on the channel. I think
I
he's ready.
Off topic, I do
Yeah.
want to applaud your Desert Wave album behind you on vinyl. That is a slept on album, but it is delicious.
Slept on, and that was that album means a lot to us because I think they reached out to us and we wrote a little blurb, and then like 2 weeks later, bigger. It's before I was on the Doom charts even, and all of a sudden some of the bigger sites are covering Desert Wave, and they were going to break up. As I remember, they were done.
Mm.
This is it, one and done.
Wow.
Second album, they're done, and the response was so good. So they actually sent me that
That's
with a
cool.
really nice letter. We're close friends. We stay in touch.
That's awesome.
I think in Stoner Doom, that's one of the big differences. I don't know if death metal writers have the same relationship with bands because you've got JJ Kozan. He's basically writing his article while he's on stage taking pictures, right? And
Hmm.
he's talking to the band. We have this like it's the opposite relationship to any other media coverage where it's very adversarial, it's
Right.
very separated. Journalistic ethics, you can't take shit, man. We're over at each other's barbecues.
Right. And I think that's partially a consequence of this being a portion of the music industry that doesn't have a lot of money. And
Yeah.
because of that, there's not a lot of competition. I always joke that it's like it's just the same $20 being passed around. Like a band gets paid for a vinyl and they turn around and they pay for another vinyl, and that band
Oh
takes that
yeah.
$20 and pays for another vinyl. We're all just passing around the same $20 bill.
And the other joke is the band that's performing, the audience are the 10 other bands in the hometown,
Right.
except the bands on stage actually have the girlfriends. And there's an element of truth to that.
I've
But I
definitely
think
been to shows where everybody in the audience was also playing that night, and there wasn't really anybody else
I
there.
know, and that there's this like inbred banjo playing deliverance element to it that
Right.
kind of works.
Yeah.
Especially, ooh, man, too many jokes I can go down here, but especially Weed Eater with the banjo, and then you have Dope Scum. It's like it's becoming a thing. I think the scene's gotten bigger than that, though. It really has, and it's very quiet and it's very stealth. I don't think anybody else in the media sphere has any idea of what is actually happening in the underground.
Right. And I think,
It's different.
yeah, I think one of maybe the most important things to happen in this space in the last like 12 months was like Castle Rat charted in the UK, and
Right?
I don't remember the last time anybody that wasn't Queens of the Stone Age charted. And maybe I'm wrong about that, but like it just doesn't
No,
happen very
I think you're
often.
right. Acid King hit I want to say 96 on the Hot 200
Mm.
on Billboard. Castle Rat, I knew they were going to chart because um, we don't get those numbers, and I think we should. I think labels, it would be in their best interest. Actually, remember the last video we did where we gave we started talking about band advice, and
Hmm.
I went, "Ooh, maybe we shouldn't say that." I never published it. I might publish it as a postmortem. Um, but I knew Castle Rat had to chart because the first run was about 1700, I think, when you're looking at vinyl, cassette, and everything else, plus their online digital sales.
Yeah.
And then when the second pressing sold, I contacted Todd and I said, that's kind of enough to chart. It wasn't enough in the U.S., but It's first I heard that they chartered in the UK. That's
Yeah.
I should know that.
It was kind of just like it happened and then it was done and it was over. And yeah, I was like, why isn't anybody talking about that? But I reached out to Todd and I reached out to the band and I was basically like, first of all, congratulations, that's incredible. But also I was like, this is like just a wonderful middle finger to everybody out there who says like rock is dead and nothing cool is coming out anymore and there's no cool music out there. Like, fuck that. There's a lot of cool music and we're friends because of that.
Yeah. I think Council Rat can go mainstream. I think mainstream's a little bit hungry for something like Council Rat because they bring old school danger. Sorry, Riley Pinkerton is not a safe role model. I mean,
Right.
she's harmless.
No.
She's wonderful. I'm not saying there's anything. She's not P Diddy,
But
but
her like stage persona is not safe. Right.
she's out there.
Yeah.
Well, her private persona is pretty much the same as the stage. I think that she's dangerous enough. I mean, you have Madonna posing for 30 years, and no, Riley is the real thing, that whole band. I do think they can go more mainstream. I
Mhm.
honestly do. We just need, you know, either we need Anthony Fantano and the needle drop to pay attention, or any of the other hundred of YouTube guys, or we need somebody within the scene to get big enough and have that kind of clout.
Mhm. Yeah.
Which is why we for us buying Monster Riff was a is kind of a no brainer. The thing is, what I was shocked about was Julie. Like a few minutes after she's our my partner, Julie, like 10 minutes after the discussion, she's like, "I think I want to do this." And then I saw all the other services that you offer, and I'm like, "Nope, I can't touch that." And and then it evolved to where, okay, we think we can do it. Can you speak to that? I don't know if people are aware of all the services that
Oh
you
yeah.
provided to the community.
Yeah. So in my day job by day, I am a marketer, and it as Monster Riff grew, and I had access to so many bands and people in the scene, and I saw a lot of bands struggling with, they'd send in these like press kits and they would be like a Word doc with a list of links, and it just wasn't a wonderful presentation, and I have a skill set that could help them punch that up a little bit. And so started offering electronic press kits, made in PDFs, and so that comes in like two versions as like a regular PDF like you would send into the mail, and then a cloud version where when you embed your videos, they can actually play dynamically inside the link, which is nice because you don't actually have to leave to go to your YouTube channel, and the journalist who's watching doesn't get distracted by the rest of YouTube. So those have been really popular. We also offer press releases, press distribution, um, some social media training as well, especially for bands that like have never touched Instagram before. We'll build out strategies for them. We'll show them how to use stuff. But those are the three most popular services: press, um, PR, and EPKs.
Yeah, that I know that just so people know, we do intend to offer at least something very close to that. I think our guess right now is in 90 days. It's more realistic for us to do the transition, really learn and do the deep dive. But we're also thinking of offering services that we think we can provide that other folks can't. Mostly to do with video press kits and
Oh, that's a great idea.
doing doing video where we're doing an interview on the single. It's 5 to 10 minutes, and then have the single and really kind of be able to punch it up so they can use it on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. We think video is the way to go, and it's one of the strengths that we have. You were this close to being a PR company. I mean, when I look at the menu of services from, by the way, we have great relationships with PR, and we're not trying to get into their space. We just think we're like supplemental Medicaid, supplemental Medicare,
You're the
where
Aflac.
of course, boomer, I'm not sure the Gen Z guys get the joke, but we do see ourselves as potentially more of an added benefit to existing PR strategies.
Mhm.
Definitely, what we can offer is social media strategies, like real, no kidding, how to think about your social media,
Right.
how to, and if they're anything like me, they need to learn open Instagram.
Yeah,
This
right.
is a real. This, I know that because you taught me. You taught me the difference between the post and the story. I kept trying to put the link in, and so I needed that, which is why the video I have on the new guy for bass gear is an inside joke directed to you and JJ and some of the other guys. It's like I had no idea what I was doing.
That's so
Huh,
funny.
maybe I shouldn't admit that so readily.
It's a weird place. It's a weird thing. Don't worry about it.
No, I know, but we're in the same boat as bands, and I think there's a synergy. Ooh, there you go, marketing words. There's a parallel, man, where and this building Monster is to where it is. It's like we're in the same boat. We have to learn the same skill set.
Mhm.
We have to do the same. We have to get ourselves. We have to